I saw recently where on the internet newspapers arguing, asking the question um, why folks hate America and the enemy and all that kind of stuff. I think I've alluded to this in several videos, but I basically, this is just scholarship here. I mean, I just don't really, I'm just looking at the facts here. That's it. Alright. Now, from the beginning of America, way back in the 18th century, before the independence was declared and so on, you recall what was happening in Europe. There was religious persecution. Europe was evil. It was going nowhere. And then I think the Christian Reformation came on and things started to look up. God again was worshipped and so on. And so folks left Europe from the persecution that came to America and vowed to have a freedom that they could worship God the way they wanted. And that was good. Walter Williams, Finland, and so on. Now, on that ship, or subsequently, the enemy came in and started to establish the same old order of things, the lodges, the secret societies, and so on. But Europe in those days, only the Pope, priest, maybe the king, and the state had rights. But these founding fathers determined that everybody should have rights. And I think that we should say that instead of saying the founding fathers, God wanted to show Europe that if people have these rights that were embedded in the Constitution, that things would prosper and you do better, etc. And so America became that bulwark. And of course the enemy, Satan, and the Antichrist would hate that. Okay, so this hatred started way back from the institution of this republic. But then look at that coined the Constitution, and they belong to organizations that survived and came over from Europe. These various lodges and secret societies. Those ones, can't remember the names of them, but they have a great fun, and some of the fathers didn't believe in Jesus. He was just like this and that, and the whole 9 yards. So they will be prone to make some significant errors. Now, I believe that the Constitution, if the founding fathers had made it clear that these new ideas are old ideas, and that the only way this will prosper and work is if we stay close to God and give reference to the Word of God. Otherwise, you're going to get back into the same tyranny and same thing that happened in Europe. But they just made it appear as if this Constitution was very, very powerful, invincible, infallible, and everything else. But we see where people begin to pick it apart. The First Amendment, for example, and the part with freedom from religion. That should have been taught a little more, clarify what we were talking about in the religion part, and make it clear that the freedom of speech or freedom of press, whatever, is contingent on religiosity. In other words, I will not say something to somebody that I have a right to say, but because I know it's not kind and it's not respectful and the other and so on, you won't say it. And if you know that something will cause somebody some pain, you will not also say it, even though it is the truth. I mean, what's the point, And so recently here, with this making of the anti-Muhammad film, I understand this guy is a mental case felon, and felons generally are people with mental problems, criminals. And so he has brought on some significant problems. And so if he were a Christian, he would respect these other guys' position, because God never really wants his religion to be thrown on people when they don't want it. I see Nebuchadnezzar, after Daniel was thrown into the fire, and it did not burn him, and they saw Jesus in the fire, he declared that that religion is supposed to be worshipped, adhered to by everybody in Babylon. And God wasn't too pleased with that, because here's a pagan leader that's trying to enforce God's law and so on. So even when it's a good thing, you just don't enforce it. People have to make choices and choose to go that way. And so, although I believe that the Christian religion is the best, still I have to respect what other people have and try to show them my position, understand their position, and leave it up to them. I mean, I'm going to stay with mine. They could stay with theirs if they want, but if they listen to God's Spirit, He will lead them on to the new one. Okay? And then some other things happened that created this enemyship down the road. In the Second World War, Hitler was again trying to bring back the Middle Ages times. He wanted Germany to expand back and so on. And just like Christopher Columbus and all these people that came out into the West, they were interested in expanding the Roman Empire, basically. That was it. Because they did not discover out here, Egyptians and others were out here. And Native Indians were here and all kinds of stuff. But it was to extend religion. And so Hitler was working with the Antichrist and the enemy. And we made a decisive battle and ended Hitler. And so the enemy was not happy, and so he's plotting and planning how to hurt America for, knocking off Hitler. And so he did some things. Formed the United Nations, made it possible Israel could go down to the Middle East, and made certain intelligence and certain federal police around the world so that he could share in crime intelligence and he could dictate national policing strategies. It then culminated eventually in which they even tried to exterminate those people. But these organizations weren't necessarily to serve their various countries, to serve the Antichrist. And especially Israel. You see where it's not prudent to fight Syria or Iran. And Israel is making it clear that they will win a strike because they feel that they will be threatening national nuclear in Iran and all that stuff. So if fighting the Muslims is what God has said and is protecting them and could destabilize the economy and all that kind of stuff, then they're going to make it possible to drag the West into this fight and destroy the economies. Israel gave God problems. Israel made God cry. And in the beginning, when the Middle East was kind of like tending to support Russia, and Soviet Union that is, the West was happy to have a little oasis in there where they could listen and they could, try to do something in the Middle East. But Soviet Union is over, and they stuck with Israel. And Israel continues to be scared. They're always scared. When even God is protecting them, they're scared. And I don't see who has what it takes to make them feel confident. They'll be scared no matter what. And they're using the scare tactics to get more money, to help out the country, and to do a whole variety of other things. So they're playing games with the scared thing and so on. But that also has galvanized the Middle East in hating not everybody else but America as a prime supporter of Israel. And we saw recently where the enemy again is trying to force the West to go into the Middle East because Bush went into Afghan and Iraq twice. And so nobody wants to go in there. And so he's trying to create an opportunity to force folks into undercome the Spring Revolution. And sometimes it looks very dicey and nice when the dictators kind of massacre folks, go in and help out, and you can make a decisive move in there. But what folks are failing to tell many people, and I think military men, is that not that you don't have the might to do what you want to do, but it's to hold it and also to gain the confidence and the respect and the cooperation of the people of because don't mind what you do. When you go in and kill innocent folks, you're going to destroy buildings, you're going to destroy the place, and everybody is going to come and say, oh man, and everybody will hate you, you know what I'm saying? So what I find though is this maneuver in Benghazi, and I want to make it sure they're having this American sentiment, anti-American sentiment going down. If we move real forcefully and bring in one area, then the whole place is going to be again against us and a new round of stuff going on. So out of this Benghazi and the present situation, one has to be patient and try try to make it clear that it's not the government that supports this thing, it's the guy that's here. He has the constitution that he's using to say that he has a right to do what he wants, and so on. So within this little presentation, I'm trying to show this is how the enemy thing developed and is continuing. It seems that sometimes, what I find is that I'm an American ally. When I was in the Caribbean, I visited the American Embassy. I wanted to work with America. I wanted to see if I could have gone down to my country, do a successful campaign, and be pro-American or whatever. The American government don't even know about me. They don't have no records. They don't know about me, period. And now that I came to America, I have so many problems that I wondered if I just stayed my butt in the Caribbean and don't even worry about nothing, or about politics and just my life would have been significantly better. I could have gone to Oxford, London, Cambridge, got a big job in the country, and maybe even still become president. So when you work with America, or you want to work with America, but this is politics. I discovered this in Trinidad. You'll be a member of the party, and they will spend extra resources trying to win those who are not with them and ignore you. They say, in other words, you're on our side already, so we got to worry about you. We want to win those guys over there. They get land, money, house, and all kinds of stuff. And you get nothing. And so, and what I've discovered in Trinidad is that the folks that don't support you, don't mind what you do, still going to support you. You could give them all the house, all the money, and all that. They only have more resources now to hate you. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to know this and know who your real friends are and work with them and just try to get along with the enemy, because you can't win them. Don't mind what you do. And they will always find one reason why they should hate you. See? You're doing everything right. Just one word somebody said that you don't like, and it's like you never ever did anything to them. So I don't know how to deal with that, but all I could say is that America needs to recognize who the enemy is. And the enemy is not the Muslims. America is not the enemy. The enemy is some entity out there that's trying to take over the world. And some people thought Saddam was it because he had a big army. And it means Babylon. But Babylon is a spiritual word. It just means confusion. It doesn't mean Iraq or the Babylonian Empire of the past or revived Babylon or whatever. It is this evil. And it's not the Muslims. So as a matter of fact, I think the enemy is so slick and so well intricated into the system that it's hard to really extricate him. And he is able to make people who are trying to help America look as if they're the enemy. And he has so much control and so much influence that I think the Bible has shown that what's going to happen. And it's going to happen because he's so slick. And nobody will listen to you, as a matter of fact. If I call the name of the enemy here and the Antichrist, you'll be surprised to see I'll end up with so much problems. I might even end up dead. And that's the enemy. So the Bible says, though, that he has gone to the kings of the earth and made them drunk with the wine of the wrath of his fornication. His anti-moral thing is so prevalent and it's doing so subtle that folks are drunk. I mean, they don't know what to do. And like in Europe, they want to integrate as opposed to, help create jobs, stimulate the economy, and go forward. And that's the enemy's bewitchment right there. So I wish America well, and I hope this incident here with the Borneo flood and the Benghazi and the whole sure is going on right now may subside and things will continue well. And someday God give Israel some peace so that they don't want to start something with Iran and bring on the inevitable.